Hello and welcome to the course of manufacturing method. And in this course, in the last lecture, we have discussed about the welding technique, that is consumable electrode welding, consumable electrode arc welding. Now in this lecture we will be see about the designation of the electrode. So in the electrode, those if you see the electrode, you can see that there is some number, some digits are written in the in your electrode. So now when there is some those digit, what are the meaning of those digits, that we will know first, and after that we will see about non-conventional welding. So what are the non-conventional welding? These are a special type of your fusion welding, where we are not directly used the process or the already discussed process, or the conventional ways of the welding has not been taken, but instead what we are using, instead of that, the heat is generated, or for melting the heat will be given by some other manners. So for example, by using some laser or some electron beam or some slag, heated high melting point slag, or by using some hot gas. So all of these things, all of these non-conventional welding that we will be seeing. So now let's start our lecture with lecture objective. So the lecture objective for this lecture is to understand about the electrode designation and to know about the function of electrode first. Secondly, we will be discussing in detail about electro-gas welding, electro-slag welding, LBW or laser beam welding, and EBW or electron beam welding. So this will be our whole things to learn through this lecture. So let's start our lecture first. Electrode designation. So as I am saying that in the electrode, if whenever you are going to the college and you can see the workshop, at that workshop a place is there where welding is done. In front of if you go there, you can find some electrode and you can check there in the electrode, in the body of the electrode, the mainly electrode, how they look like, first a core is there. That core is your filler material or one metal, and outside of that a blue or orange color coating is there. That blue or orange color coating is known as flux coating, and above that coating a code number is written, and in that code number, that first two digit or three digit in that code number, that code number may be of 4 to 5 digit number. So at the first digit or first three digit of this 4 to 5 digit number is represent the minimum tensile strength of the of your electrode wire or electrode rod. Next to last digits that indicate the position where the in which the welding can be done. So welding position means, for example, if the welding position is written 1, that means it can be this electrode can be used for the welding of all the position, that means horizontal, vertical, flat and overhead. All the position can be done by using this electrode. That means if that is written 1, if it is written 2, that means only flat and horizontal position can be welded. So this type next to that digit, the next to last digit indicates, and last two digit together those last two digit indicate type of coating and the current to be used. That means for AC current the number will be different, for DC that number will be different. And the coating, type of coating means the for the information about the flux is given in the in that number or in that digit. And if there is any suffix after this number, after the whole code, that suffix approximate the alloy that can be formed in the weld deposition. So by using that flux material, some alloy may form, and the approximate constituent of that alloy is given so that suffix indicates the alloy which may be formed by welding, while welding with that particular electrode. So that's it for your electrode designation. Now what are the function of the electrodes? So electrodes can be used as arc stabilizer. So what do you mean by arc stabilizers? The arc, in the arc what is there? In the arc there is high energy electrons and protons. Those interchanged and make random collisions. So at that position the arc is very fluctuating with the energy. So energy of the arc is very fluctuating, but for welding we need a constant focused energy, and that constant focused stable arc can be done by using the flux of the electrode or by using the electrode only. So electrode acts as a arc stabilizer first. Secondly, it produces shielding gas. So by burning of that flux material, that is coating of the electrode material, shielding gas can be produced that controls the metal melting. So electrode controls the metal melting. Next, it acts as a flux to protect the weld against oxide, nitrides and any other infusions by forming the slag. So slag formation can be done, and those slag may cover the weld area, so that weld area is not affected by using by the environment. And fifth point, that is the function of the electrode. Another function of the electrode to add alloying element to the material, to the weld joint, that would enhance the mechanical property of the joint. So that alloying element is also given to the joint by using the electrode. So these are the function of the electrode and the designation of the electrode we have discussed. Now we will see about our non-conventional type of the welding. So in this non-conventional type of the welding, this is a type of fusion welding. That means where metal melting and solidification, this process is constant, but the energy required for melting and solidification is not directly coming from the electrical energy or electrical arc, but in some way it is coming from the electrical energy, but not in a direct manner. So this type of the welding are called your non-conventional welding. And those non-conventional welding, some of the widely used non-conventional welding techniques are electro-gas welding, electro-slag welding, laser beam welding, and electron beam welding. So one by one we will be studying about all of these four welding technique in this lecture. So one thing, remember one thing, all of these welding techniques along with the schematic diagram that we have given after each and every welding technique. So this welding technique can very likely to come into the exam as short note or short question. So write down about say laser beam welding, or write a short note on laser beam welding. This type of question may come into semester. So now we will see about electro-gas welding. This electro-gas welding mainly used for vertical butt welding in one pass. So single pass vertical butt welding can be possible by using electro-gas welding. Machine welding, this is a machine welding process because or it is a automatic welding process. So in case of electro-gas welding, no manual welding can be possible, but it is a machine welding process because some special equipment are required for the welding process. Circumferential welding can be possible if there is a provision to rotate the workpiece. So if we can rotate the workpiece, at that time circumferential welding can be done. And the typical applications are in the typical application of this electro-gas weldings are in bridge construction, pressure vessel, thick welded and large diameter pipes, tanks and ship. For this welding, for this purpose, this electro-gas welding has been used. Steel, titanium alloy, aluminum alloy, this type of the alloy can be welded by using electro-gas welding. See here in this figure that process schematic diagram of the electro-gas welding process has been seen. Here see, there is some drive rollers. Through the drive rollers, welding wire is fed into the phase through the nozzle or welding gun, and in the welding gun, that welding gun what happened, we can see a oscillator is there. That oscillator is run by water. So hydraulic oscillator is there, and that hydraulic oscillator in here a complex setup is there. So a gas assisted welding. So here what happened, first the arc is generated in the by touching the workpiece by using the electrode, and whenever that arc is generated, after some time that due to that arc, the surrounding gas will be heated, and after that the arc is extinguished, and that heated gas will propel to the portion where welding should be done, and that gas consists of your small particle of your feeding material. That gas melts the material and enter the feeding material, and this process is known as electro-gas welding. Similar to this, electro-slag weldings are there. So in case of electro-slag welding, the arc is generated in between the electrode and the bottom part of the bottom part that is to be welded, and the flux is supplied and heated. When the slag from the arc is extinguished, so after that further heat is produced continuously. So further heat is produced continuously by the resistance of the molten slag. So this is the whole process. And now thick plate welding can be done in single pass, and this process is used for welding of large structural steel section, heavy machinery, bridge, oil rig, nuclear reactor vessel. This type of the operation, in this type of the cases or in this type of the applications, your electro-slag welding can be done. Here in this schematic diagram, you can very easily see that what is happening here. First, the arc will be generated, and after some time, that arc will be extinguished. While the arc will be extinguished, a lot of slag will form, and then that slag, the heat of the arc is transferred to the slag, so the slag can do the further welding by the resistance, by giving the heat to the workpiece by resistance. So this is the process. Here you can see where the molten slag is there, and how the welfare drive, how the power source, how the process is done, you can see very clearly from this figure. Now we will see about electron beam welding. So in case of electron beam welding, the heat required for fusion may be generated by focused high velocity narrow beam of electron that strike in a vacuum atmosphere. So high velocity narrow beam of electron, when it strikes in a very high high velocity, so at that time what happened, high quality and high depth to width ratio, deep and narrow welding can be done on almost any material. This process, this electron beam welding process, very easy to automate. High thickness of the workpiece can be welded, and the typical application of this electron beam weldings are aircraft, electronic components, nuclear reactor components, and shaft gear, and the gear in automobile industry. So all of these things can be done by using electron beam welding. See here, in the electron beam welding there is one electron gun. So from that electron gun, a optical setup is there. So the whole chamber is taken in a vacuum condition, and those setup is used for focus optics, and using this focus optics we focus those scattered electrons that came into that vacuum by using electron gun. Those scattered electrons are focused, and high velocity focused electrons can deliver high energy, and using this energy in that vacuum chamber a welding may occur, and that welding process is known as electron beam welding process. So next we will see about laser beam welding. So what is laser beam welding? So in case of laser beam welding, it is similar to electron beam welding, but in case of laser beam welding there is no vacuum chamber required, first, and secondly, in place of electron, here the high focused monochromatic laser has been used. So high energy focused laser has been used for heat source for fusion, and high quality deep penetration of the welding with very nominal distortion is possible, and it is mainly used. So this type of the welding, or this laser beam welding, is mainly used for welding of thin workpiece, and it can be used in otherwise inaccessible areas. So the contours where the welding is not done very easily, so at that portion laser beam welding can be very useful, because the laser can move through a optical fiber. So by using this nature we can very easily weld in inaccessible places. Now we will see that aluminum, copper, titanium and ferrous metal, some superalloy and some refractory materials, all of these materials can be very easily welded by laser, and the laser can be pulsed or continuous. The lasers can be pulsed or continuous. See in this figure you can see a laser has been pumped, and by pumping the laser light is came out from the laser cavity, or from the laser crystal, and those light beam is focused by a focusing optic into the workpiece, and the material can be joined in lap joint, butt joint formation. So this is all about your non-conventional welding processes. Thank you. Hope you enjoy this lecture, and if you have any problem you may ask in the live class session. Thank you once again.